We are joined by New Central senior correspondent Afua Hagan, who will be sharing some updates with us on this. Afua, first, I want you to bring us up to date. More than 100 people are said to be dead, with thousands reported missing. What's the latest from the rescue operation in that area?
Yes, you're absolutely right. The death toll, unfortunately, expected to rise as rescuers are trying to go through the many buildings that have collapsed already. So the death toll is at least 164. That's up 111 from last night. Reuters reporting that 85 people have been killed in Cali, 66 in Pereira, and 13 in Choco, a largely rural place close to the epicenter. Now, rescue operations have continued through tonight into today, with firefighters, soldiers, police, and specialist teams doing their best to try and go through the rubble, through collapsed buildings. Now, 6 of the international airports in the area, or 6 airports in the area, have been closed because of the damage to them. So that makes it really difficult for more equipment to be able to be flown into the country, as well as aid. Now, Cali is emerging as one place. It's a serious area of concern. There was a hospital that has collapsed there, including floors that are used for pediatric care, patients trapped in there, and around 600 patients being treated outside in the street because of sections of the hospital that were no longer considered safe. 2,700 people reported missing at the moment. That doesn't necessarily mean that 2,700 people are trapped under the rubble, but that's 2,700 people that are unaccounted for. This period, the first 24 to 48 hours after the quake, is absolutely critical. It remains a search and rescue operation at the moment, but that may change as the hours go on.
This is pretty sad looking at the numbers, but then Afua, this is Colombia's strongest earthquake this century, according to reports. But then why is the country so vulnerable to major earthquakes like this? And why do officials hope that these might probably be the deadliest in recent disasters that have happened, even if you compare it to the one that happened in Venezuela?
So Colombia sits at an exceptionally complicated seismic neighborhood, which I'll try and break down. So along its Pacific side, you have the Nazca tectonic plate, which is being forced beneath the South American plate, while the Caribbean plate also interacts with the northern part of Colombia. So that convergence borders on the Pacific Ring of Fire, and that's responsible for much of the earthquake activity and volcanic activity also along the Andes. So Colombia's Geological Service has documented that the Nazca plate beneath South America is a main source of the country's seismic activity. This particular earthquake was very powerful, magnitude 7.4. But one particular factor is how deep it went. So the US Geological Survey puts it roughly 107 kilometers below the surface. So an earthquake that is that deep means it will be felt over a much bigger, much larger geographical area, which is why the shaking was reported sort of hundreds of kilometers away from the epicenter. Venezuela, you mentioned there's one critical difference with the earthquake in Venezuela that struck in June. That was 2 earthquakes, a 7.2 and a 7.5, just 39 seconds apart, but they were at a much shallow depth of 28 kilometers rather than the earthquake in Colombia, which is around 107 kilometers. So it's the placement of Colombia and Venezuela along these tectonic plates, where at the moment there is a lot of seismic activity.
I'm just looking at the footage and I've got my heart in my mouth. But then, can we actually fight nature? We pray for strength for Colombians in these trying times. Afua Hagan, thank you so much for sharing the details with us.